Hari Om. So we have around 2 to 3 minutes. We can just wait for other participants to join, or we can, if you have any questions, anything you wish to share, you are welcome. Hari Om Srinivas ji. Hari Om. Hari Om Nick ji.
Hari Om.
Hari Om. We'll just wait for a few more minutes, 2 to 3 minutes, for the participants to join. If there's any query, any question we wish to look at, we can have a look at it, or we'll just wait. We're going to be starting the 16th Adhyay. Hari Om Vasudevan ji. Hari Om. We'll just wait for one more minute and then we are beginning. Anybody wishes to look at anything that we have covered from the previous adhyayas, any queries, they are welcome. Or we'll just wait for the session to start. Hari Om Madhvi ji. Hari Om. Hari Om. Mamta ji, Hari Om. I think we can now begin. It is time. Let us begin with the invocation. I request all participants who can turn on your video feeds, please do turn on the video feeds. Saraswati Namastubhyam Varade Kamarupini Vidyarambham Karishyami Siddhir Bhavatu Me Sada Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langayate Girim Yat Krupatamaham Vande Paramananda Madhavam Vasudevam Sutam Devam Kamsa Chanura Mardanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum. Hari Om. Yes, so we are now entering into what is the 16th Adhyaya. Can someone just recollect anything that we saw last? Hari Om ji. Hari Om Arvind ji. Hari Om. Yes, can anybody recollect anything that we saw last? Yes, please. Ji.
Yesterday we saw that when the bhakti is unconditional and pure, you acquire knowledge without studying any scriptures or books also. You gave the example of Bhainabai Chaudhary.
Okay, Ji. Yes.
The illiterate lady, how she went on to become one of the greatest poets.
Yes, yes. Ji. Yes, Srinivas ji. So yes, bhakti is something which can sometimes, in some very rare of the rare situations also, where somebody who has not studied any scripture also, that person can access the same wisdom because the bhakti of the person elevates. But now we have access to scriptures also, and we can have bhakti also. Why not use both in synergy and probably progress faster? So, but the bhakti aspect is very essential because otherwise Even jnana is dry without the bhakti element. So bhakti is very important in our path. That was one thing we saw in the previous adhyaya. Also, Krishna said gunatit state also can be reached by ease with somebody who has got bhakti. Before that, Krishna has also told dadami buddhi yogam. I'll give you the buddhi. Elsewhere, he says bhakti will help you even surrender. Bhakti will help you learn the meaning of detachment also. So there's something everywhere we see bhakti or shraddha as something very important. Shraddhavan labhate jnanam is what it is said. So even for knowledge to enter, you need to understand with shraddha, you need to surrender. Then only you can create a conducive ground for receiving the wisdom. Otherwise, our doors are closed. We do not allow the divine knowledge to enter into us only. So that is one thing which we saw. And Krishna is, if you see, when you go into that quietude, then you recognize the divine presence. And this divine presence, this is a universal divine existence, which is eternal, which is sanatan, which is shashvat, which is perfect, which is pure. That divine in this world, which is again, we have seen the Sharab, Vishwa, in the Kshetra, Kshetrajna, we saw the different vikara are there in the world. But behind the vikara also, if you are able to see that divine, that is what Krishna is talking about. And this realization comes only to that person who can see, probably with the inner eye. Otherwise, a person is oblivious to the presence of the divine in life. Life starts, life ends, but the person does not experience anything. It is like life just passes in a flash. People don't understand the dwelling of the divine, the coming of the divine, the going of the divine. Sometimes in life there are moments as well where we don't realize divine beings we meet also, but Hariom Rajeshri ji, Hariom. So we do not realize at times that there are means divine's presence. Sometimes Santa is there in front of us and we don't realize it, and only after that great Santa is left we understand that, oh no, what is this? We missed the opportunity. So becoming conscious, there are vibhutis of the divine. Krishna is already told everywhere. Becoming conscious, who knows, in our life we might be experiencing also. Probably we just need to be aware, and with Shraddha we can get that we can say wisdom also, we can get the insight as well. That's what Krishna says, and he says he is there everywhere. Again, we saw the starting Chandasi Yasya Parnani. Means who understands this ancient Ashwatha tree which is hidden, which is what we can say the eternal one. This is the inverted Ashwatha. Somebody who understands this connection of the spirit with the material. Somebody who understands the way of detachment to free oneself from the karma bandhana. That person, though may not be able to understand the full existence of the cosmos, but that person is able to access the wisdom of the Vedas also. This is what we have also in the second adhyaya also Krishna has told. Somebody who has got that self-realization, he has got the Vedic wisdom inside himself also. He is like, as Krishna had said, he is like a well of water. So, a well of water also is enough for a village, or so many people can benefit from it. So what, there is no reservoir? It is alright. If the reservoir is not there, the water well will do the work. Something like that is that realized yogi is what Krishna had told to us before. So yes, that was there, and I think Rakesh ji had asked a question just this morning about the Ashwatha tree. Exactly, Vastu aspects apart. If it is your Shraddha, you want to plant it. I would not say don't plant. But a lot of people say because its roots go very deep, people do not want the roots to enter into the construction of the building. That is what people say. And then because it's sacred, come with that several responsibilities of looking after it also properly. If you are going to keep it for that sacred purpose, it is also a nakshatra vruksha. But of course, in our unit we have the Ashwatha tree and also the Vata Vruksha, and it is not for so many years it's there, and we are not. We have seen also in many temples as well next to the building. So if your home is becoming a temple, why not? Why not plant? But you will have to look after that because you are now trying to ordain the divine's presence. It's a very sacred tree, of course. Even its scientific name is what I think Ficus religiosa. Yes, so
Sorry, I mean, that's what I understood because of its roots, and it
yes,
is close to your house,
yeah, yeah.
and
Hmm.
because it goes also
Yeah,
more
but if you look
productive,
at
right? Than
temples,
exercise.
if you look at the temples though, there are next to the building only several hundred years old. The tree is there. Building is also harmoniously lives like, uh, and many times nobody has to plant. It comes on its own only. Many times. So anyway, yes, Rakesh, that's it's up to the individual, of course. And if you want to consult somebody from the Vastu perspective, you could check and find out. So yes, we are ready. We are ready to move into the next chapter. So Krishna says, "This is the secret I have given you." It is again the same secret that he has told us in almost every adhyay. Shraddha Mayoya Purushaha. That is the Shraddha of the person. Shraddha will make everything. That is again a secret which we see in 15th adhyay. 15th adhyaya was a little metaphysical. Now Krishna is going to take us to a little bit more practical adhyaya. Before we begin, let us just look at the illustration. Yes, can someone tell me what do you see in the illustration? Yes, please.
It is like one person is very, very angry, very aggressive, it is looking,
Yeah.
and the other person is very calm, like the halo is there,
Okay.
the divine
And
is
another
there.
person has got two horns. Is
Two
it not?
horns, like
Okay.
it's very like Asura and Deva kind of a
All right.
comparison.
All right. One looks peaceful, one looks calm. The other is
Yes,
angry. And what has he got? He's got a weapon with him. Is it not?
yes,
Catapult. What they say? Guler.
yes.
Is it in Hindi?
Gulel, yeah.
Yes.
So he's like
Yes.
targeting anybody and very, very angry, and
Yeah. So
I
that.
can attack anytime anyone else like
Yes,
that.
and yes, because in the village we have children, they play with the color. It's good as long as they are using it for plucking fruits. But no, for fun, I have seen children run after there's a beautiful bird. I want to stone that bird. That's a very crazy tendency. And I think nowadays in the city we don't have that at all because children don't run around with on the roads or there are no trees that many. But yes, this tendency of hurting, you can see causing harm to others. That is visible in one. And the person who is little grouchy, who is a little angry. The other one looks pretty calm and peaceful. So, if you look at the tagline, this is a pretty simple image that way. There are two natures. But are they the same individual or are they different individuals here? Yes, please. Anybody?
These natures are present in most people.
They are present in
Though
most people.
yeah, it's both in I mean, most different parts of times of life we experience
Okay.
different feelings.
Sometimes we are only the
Even nowadays,
asuras. We are searching
today I was
for.
reading this,
Okay.
with all this Ukraine war going on. They're saying
Okay.
that such a nice boy in school, but he went and killed so many people in Vietnam.
Okay.
Uh, something like that.
Acha.
So
Ji.
it
Yes.
is there.
All right. So many times the
Yeah,
asuras, we are
as
searching for, we are afraid of the asuras, but we don't realize sometimes the asura is inside of us. That is what I think probably Vasudevanji is saying. Yes. Anybody wants to add something? Yeah.
I mean this trait like
We have
having sorry.
Yes, Srinivasji, and then come to Diptiji. Yes, please. Ji.
we have both the traits in every individual,
Okay.
that is divine and this demonic,
Hmm.
and depending upon the situation and
Hmm.
the prakriti of a person, he reacts, he
All right.
behaves.
Ji. But if you
Even
look at this
situation plays
image,
an important role as far as a
ha.
ordinary person is concerned.
Okay. Ji. And if you look at the image
Yeah,
though, if you look at the illustration, in the illustration, are they same individuals or are they different individuals?
different
In the
individual.
in the illustration, we are seeing different individuals. Though we have identified rightly that yes, we can have this nature and the other. Yes, Madhviji. Yes, please.
With sadhana, even Asuri Swabhav can become
Ha.
peaceful and sattvic.
Yes, and if you see Sri Aurobindo talking about he said, "Give me the strength of the Titan." Ma Durga wants her followers to have that strength also, along with the divine wisdom. So imagine gunas of the devas and the shakti of the asura. What great, brilliant works can be done for the divine as an instrument.
Kshagira Sagara Manthan.
Yes, absolutely. G. So yes, but if you look at this image a little bit, we see that all right, we all understand that these are natures inside of us. At times we have this nature, sometimes we have the other nature. Depends, as Srinivas ji has said, on the situation, on the what is exactly going on, so many factors, the inner nature of the person, the moment, all of it. But apart from that, if you look at it, you see, just look at the tagline. There are two traits found in people, namely the divine and the demonic. All persons belong to one of these two categories depending on their behavior. So, a person overall, just as we say Rajasic, Sattvic, and Tamasic, all three gunas are present inside of an individual. But we can overall say this person is overall Rajasic, or I am overall Sattvic, or I am Tamasic. Like that, overall nature of either Devi or Asuri could be understood. But of course, the Gita is not for drawing labels on anyone. This we have to be very careful in this chapter when we teach children only, because next day class, my sister, she is Asuri, my sister is like this, or my brother is completely Asuri Swabhava is what the children say. Then we have to tell them, no, we should not draw labels. But Krishna is going to tell us what is this nature. Sometimes we wonder, how is it a person is behaving like this? Is there no divinity inside of such a person? Because we feel that person is overall Asuri only. So basically this is a question which probably Krishna wants Arjuna to understand on his own and answer, because this must be looking at Duryodhana. Arjuna might have felt, how is he? How is Arjuna like this? How is Duryodhana like this? How can he be so cruel? And all this Krishna's Bhakta, one side they are learning about selfless existence. They are learning about giving up all attachments. And they are surrounded by so many people who are talking about selfishness. They are calling selfishness a virtue. They are talking about attachments by being everything, desires being the foundation of existence. So how does one, and Krishna has also told in the start, na buddhi bhedam. Don't create a divide in the mind which does not understand, which does not seek. So how does a person deal? How does a bhakta also reconcile? Because we have to reconcile with the opposites also if we are going to live with it in life. We will be facing opposite, not only opinions, opposite people, opposite tendencies also. So that is something Krishna wants probably to equip Arjuna with, because Arjuna is going to deal with not just Duryodhana. There are going to be so many such characters in his life. So that's what probably Krishna wants. So Krishna is introducing this adhyaya of the divine and demonic nature. So let us see. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha, the first shloka. Abhayam sattva sanshuddhihi jnana yoga vyavasthitihi dhanam damascha yajnascha swadhyayas tapa arjavam. Now Krishna spoke, fearlessly persevering for the inner purification and engaging in the yoga of knowledge with dedication, holding all the senses in control and by selflessly giving, engaging in sacrifice, ascesis and scriptural reading. So probably he is talking about some good qualities. Just let us go on, but we'll just look at them once more. Abhayam, fearlessness. This is one natural divine quality. Some of these bhaktas, they realize that if God is there for us, who can be against us? Which force can be against? It is, there is that feeling of fearlessness which enters inside and gives strength to people to do suprahuman works. That is a divine trait, is what Krishna is saying. Sattva Sanshuddhi, wanting to understand, wanting to purify oneself on the inside. That is also very difficult. Sometimes people say, there's a limit to being nice also. Don't have to go into that. People advise, don't be like this. The world will kill you. The world will stab you on the back, and all that is apart. Still people do that. It as if something is wrong with them, only people wonder, this person is too much. But no, this is also a divine trait, wanting to try to purify oneself, raise one's consciousness, because there is no limit. What people see as the top of the mountain, when you go on the spiritual path, when you go on top of the mountain, you will see you have to take a leap from the top of the mountain into another world, and that is just the tip of the iceberg. The journey is so deep, the journey is so vast, so there is no limit. One must keep on probably purifying oneself. So that is one more divine trait. Holding the senses in control. So our senses, our indriyas, today our mind is telling one thing, my eyes are telling me something else, my ears are telling me something. I saw this happening in front of my eyes. that creates the biggest disturbance, and then the full rajas inside of the individual, because the now eyes, indriyas have now taken that person for a ride, and now this person loses control, loses cool. But this is not the case of the divine person. Even if things go against, even if he hears the opposite, even if he sees the opposite, even sometimes he has to speak the opposite of what he understands for the moment, that time also there is no disturbance or fluctuation on the inside, because there is a control. And by selflessly giving, so again, giving to others, that is a very beautiful trait where many people understand that I live because I can give. There is a beautiful Sanskrit subhashit. Paropakarartha phalanti vrukshaha, paropakarartha dahanti gavaha, paropakarartha vahanti nadhya, paropakarartha midam shariram. Means for the trees, look at the trees. Why do they give fruits? For paropakar, for service. So do the cows, they give milk. They give milk as a service only. If you look at the milk that is given by the cows, it is more than what the calf can drink. The calf gets its share, and still from the ancient times there was no cruelty of animals. Even now in my village, the cows are worshipped and they are free to roam. They can go where they want to. But the first and the birth of a calf is like a birth of a family member. The entire village celebrates. So many people, it's like that. But look at the life of the cow. Throughout, from the beginning to the end, and even after the death, it is being used only. It is of service. Paropakarartha. The cows are also giving milk for that reason only. Why are the rivers flowing? Rivers are the cradles of civilization. Wherever the rivers flow, there life forms, life exists. And what do? They keep flowing and ultimately meet into the ocean. Nothing on the river is not keeping its own special something for itself. It's just flowing for what? For others. So too is the human body, is what that Subhashit talks about. The Paropakarartha midam shariram. This sharira is also for the same thing. So this is also a divine trait Krishna is saying. Holding senses, in control, selflessly giving, and then Dhanam damascha yajnascha swadhyayas tapa arjavam. So if you see yajna must be done. A yajna of sacrifice must be done, whether it is just the ritual sacrifice or it is the aspect of the spiritual aspect of sacrifice. Yes, sacrifice must be done by the individual. Nityam yagne pratishtitam. It is the world is in a state of sacrifice. Why? Who is that person who is not participating in it? So consciously participate in the sacrifice. Krishna is saying, do some tapasya. Do some tapasya. Let us control ourselves. Let us have some austerities. And scriptural reading. Why do we need to read scriptures? Yes, maybe some brilliant awakened ones have understood without even having to read scripture. Does not mean that we don't need to read scriptures, because it is something, someone who doesn't know the history will always make mistakes and repeat the same mistakes which history could have taught the person and that person could have avoided. Our scriptures also are very Sanatan Dharma scriptures. They are full of practical wisdom. They are full of great tarka. They give a great way of life. It helps a person to rise in consciousness also. So let us take some time out and read scriptures as well. And of course, Gita Shastram Idam Punyam is no greater Shastra than Gita also. So why not? People like to read the Gita again and again also, because reading the Gita makes people conscious, makes them transform themselves also. That is why it is called a very special scripture. But scriptural reading is required. It is the same in your field also. If you are working in some place, you cannot say I know everything because I have gut feeling. It's not always gut feeling is going to work. Your scriptures, or if you are working in a field, you need to study and develop your knowledge. So that is an important aspect, which is a divine trait. Wanting to study, abhyasa, that tendency is something which is very good, is what Krishna is saying. Probably he's just talking about all the good tendencies, what we can call them the divine tendencies. The first three shlokas are going to just be what is this divine traits. They're going to be describing the divine traits. Let us see. Ahimsa satyama krodha tyaga shantira paishunam daya bhuteshvaloluptvam mardavam rirachapalam. Bereft of anger, practicing non-violence and truthfulness, self-giving, absence of fault-finding and peacefulness, devoid of greed and holding a global compassion, modesty, tenderness, and an unswerving determination. So these are also divine qualities. Not having anger inside. It's a very difficult thing. It's easy to get angry. It is more difficult not to get angry. But these ones who are able to control their anger. Ahimsa, Krishna has again talked about ahimsa in the Gita. Non-violence is what Krishna is saying. Is he preaching something and then doing something else, or what is that meaning of this ahimsa? Again, I'm just repeating the same question which I had asked when last time the word ahimsa was introduced.
Protecting dharma.
Protecting dharma, protecting what is right, protecting your ideal. There is no greater himsa than destroying your principles. If your principles are lost, everything is lost. You must stand by your ideals in life as well. What you stand for, and that is where. But not having the tendency to hurt. If you see when the Vishwarupa also, not having hatred. Without hatred, uphold your duty. Without having dvesha, without having anger, without having kama, without having krodha, all these aspects, then only you are going to be upholding your dharma as well as not going on the wrong path. Otherwise, when this interference comes in, your right action will also become a wrong action, because this is going to take you away. Anger and hatred takes over a person, makes people only smaller and smaller in consciousness, and they do all the wrong actions. So this is the real ahimsa, holding on to the principles, not wanting to injure anyone, not having the hatred for anyone. That is what Krishna is saying. And truthfulness. So upholding the truth, that is also very important. Self-giving. Again we see self-giving, willing to give oneself for a cause, for a purpose, for a mission, for a higher purpose. And there is no higher purpose than Loka Sangraha is what we have understood. And Loka Sangraha can happen at any place, any time. Sometimes botanists have gone into forests and done Loka Sangraha without even meeting lokas or people. They live in the forest, they look after this particular plants, they try to take care of a particular species or introduce a endangered species, and then so many years later that endangered species is then no more endangered because of the efforts of this person, and that benefits the entire humanity. So they are doing Loka Sangraha even though they are disconnected from the entire Bhuloka, all the people on the earth. So something like that, self-giving. Then absence of fault finding. Now this is a very big tendency all human beings have. Easily we can find faults, but we can find faults in others, not in ourselves. I remember a friend of mine who was sitting and we were watching some reality TV program, and some singers were singing, and he said, "No, this is very horrible, this is very bad." And I thought maybe this is a great singer who is talking so much. He was able to find the faults. This person is like this person is like that. No, it's very horrible singing. And then the advertisement started, and that time we just had a conversation, and this person was prodded to sing. And I feel frogs croak better during rainy season than this person singing. But the way he was talking was as if he is the master of this entire music shastra only. And even the judges have not identified the mistake which he identified. So this aspect, people feel when I find fault in somebody else, I become a little bit bigger or better. But that's not the case. If you find a fault in yourself, you can become bigger, not finding fault in others. But this tendency of finding faults, that is not a divine trait. So not having this tendency is what Krishna is calling a divine trait. It's all right, is what he is saying. Don't aim and finding others' faults. And peacefulness. So shanti, that state of wanting to be in peace or always experiencing that peacefulness. Some people experience that in all times, at all moments as well. So again, not having greed, having a great compassion for the universe, modesty and tenderness. So being modest, despite doing great works, you see many people are very humble. If you look at our late former president, Dr. Abdul Kalam, a symbol of modesty all the time, very, very till the last minute we see that humility, we see the modesty. So these are all, they say, Vidya Vinayana Shovati, that is the instrument, the adornment, that is a kind of a jewel that people of wisdom possess. Modesty, only the people who are wise have modesty, is what is also said in that Sanskrit words. So then tenderness, this is also sensitive, being sensitive. A lot of times people are very, very insensitive. But this nature, This nature of sensitivity, the tenderness, that is there in individuals. That is a spiritual path. Because many people do not walk on the spiritual path without sensitivity only. First condition for a person to walk is being sensitive. Only somebody who is sensitive is going to get hurt. Only somebody who is sensitive is going to understand and feel for others. The heart is going to beat for somebody else also. If the person is insensitive, he's just going to walk. Indriyas are going to react. He's going to react. Only that heart which is going to beat for somebody else can see something, can search for the truth. So that is a divine trait, is what Krishna is saying. You see, one side is talking about even tenderness being something special, and another side is talking, we'll see later on, about valor and strength also. So having both inner sensitivity and yet firmness to hold the principles also. It's a very beautiful thin line, and an unswerving determination, a determination that's not going to shake. Sometimes people are willing to fight the entire world and they don't mind because their determination is so strong. Then there's a nice Marathi song as well for the sadhaks. Dhyasa eka sadhaka antarat thevatu zana yatna devatu zana yatna devatu. Meaning your God is your efforts. Keep this effort, keep this determination firm inside of you. So even if you are in the full darkness, there is nobody around you, you are all alone. It says, you light that lamp of knowledge inside of you and just dispel all the darkness. It's okay if nobody is around you. Then it goes on further saying, even if a mountain comes on your way, become the storm and break that mountain and forge your path ahead. But remember, don't forget your God is your effort. So this, some people have very strong determination. Swami Vivekananda had said, you can drain mountains. You can drain oceans, you can move mountains. Faith in thee, faith in God. So faith in you also, faith in God also, both. Shraddha in yourself, Shraddha in the divine, that will give you the ultimate strength. So strong determination is also divine trait. Tejaha Kshama Dhrutish Shaucham Madroho Natimanita Bhavanti Sampadam Deivim Abhijatasya Bharata. Radiating purity showing forgiveness and valiance, not having envy or pride, and holding a poised balance. Oh Arjuna, these qualities encompass the treasure inherited by those born with the divine nature. So this is an inheritance, this is a will, this is that a human being has inherited on birth. These are the entire treasures which a person can inherit, the real wealth of existence. Radiating purity at all times. There is a teja coming out of that individual, which is all just driven by the inner purity. Showing forgiveness. So those who have been wrong, or those you have wronged also, showing forgiveness for them. Having a great bravery, great valiance, willing to fight, that valiant nature, that is also one. Not having pride, not having envy, not having jealousy. Somebody else is getting good, why do you have to get jealous of it? Like, appreciate that, what a beautiful experience. Somebody is looking better or somebody is performing better. It's alright, enjoy, lovely performance, or what a wonderful person. Why should we feel insecure about somebody else's betterment? So that jealousy aspect, why not be like that? I think Krishna has also told, having a great universal kinship, not having any kind of jealousy towards anybody else. That is the best way. That is the way we can have so many Pandavas. Otherwise there will only be Kauravas everywhere. Full of jealousy, what's going to happen? Only worse things will happen. So here, these are the treasure, and holding a balance. So this is the inheritance, this is the treasure, and Krishna is saying, if we want to cultivate qualities, that's also a type of sadhana, developing qualities inside of an individual. It's alright, I cannot see God. Fine, you can see good qualities. Try to cultivate qualities and go closer to the divine only, is what we can say. So these three shlokas are talking about it. So and this is something, is an inheritance. Krishna is saying people are born with this nature. Some people are born. Now so everybody is not Kubera. Some may not have all these qualities. Some may have one or two or three qualities. It's all right. Cultivating other qualities can also help. What is not there can be made to manifest. So this is what sadhana is about, and this is what is the divine nature Krishna is talking about. Interestingly, only 3 shlokas have been dedicated for this chapter for divine nature, and remaining is for demonic. One wonders why is Krishna doing this? Just let us see. Dambho darpo bhimanascha krodha parushya evacha Ajnanam chabhijatasya partha sampadam masurim. Egoism, false pride, and a deceitful arrogance, anger, harshness, and the vice of ignorance. Oh Arjuna, these are the qualities that define those born with the demonic nature and divine. So Krishna is saying egoism, great ahankar, I am like this, I am this feeling of ahankar inside, a false pride. So this also, it's like there's something called I am proud of being an Indian citizen. That's not what we can call ahankar. It's what swabhiman. That is something which is a right pride, but a false pride, which is again rooted in falsehood. That I am particular caste or I am like this and I am more superior to the other person by virtue of my caste. Now that's a false pride. So this false pride, the anger, and a deceitful arrogance and using deceit. People use that. People trick others and then trick themselves also because of their arrogance. So this is also one of the asuri nature. Anger, very full of anger inside, getting irritated. It's like some people do not need a reason to get angry. Fan turns on, they get angry. Fan turns off, they get angry, because that is all. Anger is the soul nature inside of them. Harshness also. Being harsh is also a great sin, is what Krishna is saying. We don't have to be harsh to anybody. Truth is itself so powerful. Why do you want to add that angle of harshness? You tell the truth very softly also, it will form. They call it truth bomb, is it not, in English? Because when it drops, it is like a nuclear bomb for somebody who is not following the truth. So one need not add that angle of harshness. That is an asuri trait, Krishna is saying. And the vice of ignorance. Again, ignorance is not bliss, it is a vice that Krishna is telling us about. We better be wary of it and let us never cultivate ignorance. So these are the qualities, these are the undivine qualities, or these are the demonic qualities Krishna is saying. Krishna goes on, probably Arjuna is immediately feeling guilty. Krishna sees that in Arjuna's face, because have I been harsh, have I been like this, I was full of ignorance. Is Krishna talking about me? Because he's such a, what we can say, wonderful soul, pure hearted one. So he immediately feels Krishna is talking about him only because he is feeling that. So that guilt is also, my teacher Damliji also very recently wrote a beautiful article, how one must not carry the guilt inside, empty the mind clearly. And that guilt is unnecessary troubling, and Krishna immediately rushes to Arjuna's rescue in the next shloka itself. Without even Arjuna saying a word, he can read. This is a beautiful understanding which is always celebrated between Krishna and Arjuna. Words are not spoken also, and there is an understanding. Krishna can understand when Arjuna is happy. And Arjuna was also like, see, I am going to ask you really obnoxious questions and you must answer them. Because I know only you can answer them, is what he says. Because if you answer these, all my doubts of life are cleared. So that Shraddha is there. So let us see what he says. Daivi sampat vimokshaya nibandhaya surimata mashuchaha sampadam daivim abhijatosi pandava. So by these qualities, divine liberation one can gain. Divine qualities will take us to moksha. But demonic natures ties one to bondage's chain. So asuri swabhava will tie a person. It will tie a person to the karma bandhana. Oh Arjuna, be not under any duress. It is the divine qualities that you possess. So as if Arjuna is worried, he says, no Arjuna, don't worry, you have divine qualities only. So what we see is Krishna is talking about an overall nature. Some people have an overall divine nature, some people have an overall demonic nature, and probably Krishna wants Arjuna to be wise. One side he is told Vasudevam Sarvamiti, I am there everywhere, I am there in all living beings. But he is also asking Arjuna to be, what we can have his Vivek Buddhi firm and recognize what is right, what is wrong. There is a divine nature, there is also a demonic nature. Sometimes it is more important to know what the demonic nature is, to protect ourselves also and to function right. Because now Krishna is going to spend most of this adhyay talking about demonic nature. It's not that he wants to cultivate demonic nature in Arjuna. It is exactly like that shlok which Damliji says, Durjanam prathamam mande sajjanam tadanantaram. Meaning first do the namaskar to the wrong person who is going to tell you what you don't want to do or what has to be avoided. And that is exactly we see here. Krishna is going to share 6th shloka onwards the entire what is the asuri swabhava. द्वौ भूतस्वर्गौ लोकेऽस्मिन् दैव असुर एव च दैवो vistarashah proktah asuram partha me shrinu. O Arjuna, all the living creatures belong to one of these two natures. The divine I have just surmised and extolled. The demonic I will now state for you to behold. He says there are two types of natures. He says one is that I have talked to you already about the divine. Now I'll talk to you about the demonic nature. So just 3 shlokas were enough for Krishna to even we can call it exactly 2.5 shlokas were sufficient for Krishna to describe the entire divine natures. We can just look at them, we can cultivate it. That's an upasana also. By the Devi upasana, when they do, they cultivate the qualities when they are worshipping the Devi. Shanti Rupena, Shakti Rupena Sansita. Why they worship that? Because they want to cultivate it. So why not? This is the jewel, this is the inheritance, this is the real wealth of life. So if we don't have certain traits, it's all right. At least in recognizing that we don't have is the first step towards achieving them. So those 3 shlokas are excellent. But now come the entire, what we can say, family of Asuri traits. What are they? Let us see. Pravrittim cha nivrittim cha janana vidurasuraha na shaucham napi chacharo na satyam teshu vidyate. The divine beings are ignorant of the right action, devoid of knowledge and unaware of the path of abstention. There exists no truth in any of these beings, nor is faithfulness observed in their dealings. This is actually very simple for us to understand, because many times, like we see, so many dynamic factors are there in the world. We say we cannot really identify what is the situation. A person may be good at times, a person may be bad at times, and how is a person. All these questions are there. But if you look at this, Krishna is very clearly saying overall you can quickly identify where is the Asuri Swabhava, where is the Devi Swabhava. And sometimes when you are surrounded with people with Devi Swabhava, your project or your works will go very fast ahead. And when there is Asuri Swabhava in a group, then that one person also can bring a big hurdle. Why big work project? Even your home simple vacation or planning with some family members, and suddenly one person comes into the picture, the entire harmony is suddenly lost. For what? No reason. Because that person has the tendency. We have seen in the 3 gunas how Rajas, Tamas, Sattva guna keep functioning. We have to become Gunatit and watch the game of the forces, how they are playing. So it is something like that, where you must encourage merits and eliminate all those forces that are going to. We are not talking about people, we are talking about the forces that function in people. Asuri Swabhava people are more prone to certain forces. So that is why you need to be careful. Krishna says here, he says, they are ignorant of the right action. They don't even know what is the right action. Devoid of knowledge. They do not have that knowledge also. And unaware of the path of abstention. But they don't understand this selflessness and everything. They call it a madness. They don't understand it at all. And there is no truth in any of their dealings. So maybe they speak some words, but their actions are not matching. Whatever dealing they are doing also, they are all shady dealings only. Not true. Even in little things also we see that. Nor is faithfulness observed in these beings. So there is no faithfulness also. So these are all divine, undivine nature, undivine traits is what Krishna is saying. Basically, if you want to purchase a land or some kind of property from a person, what is the first thing that you will look at it? Look at the person, or what will you do when you are going to purchase a property from someone? Anybody?
Well, how the person is talking, like dealing with.
Yeah, you look at some references. Has this person done work before?
Even when the person is talking, you get to know the way he or
Yes.
she is talking, that
You will
what
see.
kind, like for example, like suppose if somebody has to even rent something,
Yeah.
and like we're renting a house, like the owner is not good. So
Huh.
I don't mean the first thing is like I don't find this person good, so I
Yes.
don't want to deal him for a long time.
Absolutely.
Like it based
Yes.
on that only.
Yes. Exactly. And even sometimes when people are purchasing, they get the best documents also. The first thing is they have to see if this person is reliable, is this person trustworthy. Otherwise, even in, and it is like important aspect is faithfulness. Is that person true? If there is truth in the dealings, otherwise, then the person is not somebody whom you can rely on. This is
Actually, can we say something about
yeah.
like when we talk about like there's a vibes, when we say positive vibes and negative
Absolutely. That is why we have to be alert. We have to be alert, and we get it from everyone. in different moments when we are, it's like many times, you see, who gets irritated with a good when an auspicious action is taking place? Only the inauspicious force, is it not? So we need not call somebody a divine demon, or like we tell in the children's batch, don't give labels. Suddenly then sister only starts becoming asur, then my friend is an asur, I am deva. That is very, that's not for the labeling aspect, but for understanding. Krishna says, see, then you better not enter into deals with such a person who cannot be trusted, because then it will have your own, you will have your own downfall. So if you cannot trust, why are you going into the same action, and why are you dealing and hoping I will change this person? May this person change by my dealing. No, that is asuri swabhava. Then you don't have to. Your job is not that. Krishna has also told na buddhi bhedam. The person comes to you and says shishyastayam chadimam tam prapannam, then you can, when that person has come and asked for your advice, why go without asking? Somebody is not asked also, you go after that person when the person has clearly indicated that that person is not conscious and the person does not want to be conscious. What is your role? This is what Krishna is saying. Ignorant of right action, devoid of knowledge, unaware of the path of abstention. Whereas you will end up doing a wrong deal. And what happens then? Sometimes people have to bear the consequences of a wrong deal for many, many years, especially in land deals and other aspects. Some contracts are signed, and they have to honor the contract because they are men of honor. But the people who are getting the contract signed are not men or women of honor. They are doing the wrong aspect, but now they get trapped. So Krishna is asking Arjuna to be protected, to protect oneself. He says, don't. He says, be careful. These are all individuals. Yes, Vasudevanji wants to say something.
Given a good example of real estate.
Yes.
Property, but the government itself is demonic in nature. You have to
Yeah. We have just
so
definitely.
what do you do? Stay away from real estate or
No, you go to the route, no? Because now if you can always, government also is not fully asuri, no? Vasudevanji, go identify.
you cannot do any deal without giving under the table.
No, I do not think so, Vasudevanji. But anyway, this is a different aspect. We have ourselves.
The house also get a permit or you register property, everything
But, okay.
controlled by demonic nature only.
Okay, Vasudevanji, but maybe, yes, Vasudevanji, I will just in short, because then it will digress, but I will tell you for our unit, Damleji's factory, sir is now 76. From the beginning, he does not believe in doing anything under the table. His principles have been there. He has fought with those principles. So many difficulties he's experienced, but he has stood by those principles. And when we were getting the license for our factory, we have to visit government offices, not 1, 2. There are 7, 8 government offices for approvals. I remember the first one approval was, I was told you have to get this approval, you'll have to give these many lakhs. One thing, we did not have these many lakhs to give. That was one thing. Second, it was against our principle. We said, fine, give us a rejection if they have to, but I will not accept. And that same work which we were told by an agent that this much money is required, we went by the right path and we did not shell out 1 rupee also. And I know of a person who paid also and did not get the work done. So understand the Kshetra, become the Kshetrajna there, and there nobody can touch you. My sister has gone to the inspector of factories and talked about Karma Yoga, where he's asking principles of the Gita, the same inspector of factories.
So if I can continue with this line, somebody tried that. Why are you asking you so much? Then they lost this file, that's it.
They lost this file. Then you give in writing. We have experienced that. Devanji, I am understanding you are coming from some experience, but I am also, though I am a little young, of course, I am speaking from our experience. 2 times files have got lost. 3rd time the inquiry has been taken on the officer and why this file is lost and why this.
If many businesses can survive so long.
Ours is, yes, Vasudevanji, like this is your firm opinion, which you do not wish to change, which I don't want to change.
It's not my firm opinion. Ask anybody who is doing real estate. Maybe you are an exception. That's all I can say. This person who is.
But
even believe.
I cannot, Vasudevanji.
Tell you the truth, I don't even believe your story 100%.
Absolutely, do
Something
not believe.
he must have compromised.
Acha ji.
It's not.
It is a matter of Shraddha, ji. I am talking words which are words.
Or he is not doing a business deal. He's doing some charitable organization.
Acha. You're talking to me about me only. But I do not want you to trust me or believe me. We are looking at the Gita. Vasudevanji.
If you go into the details, you will find that something is there.
No, Vasudevanji, your firm opinion of yours, I think we can keep that because many times we have watched. Till now I have not spoken to you in the session.
10 years, fight with the government for 10 years.
No, Vasudevanji. Vasudevanji,
time-based, and if you are
Vasudevanji,
profit-oriented,
you are actually somewhere right now. I feel little bit the line is being crossed. So far, we are now on 31st episode. We have come so far. I am telling you, do not have to trust me.
I feel you are somewhere something is not there.
Absolutely.
Okay, anyway,
Then
let's proceed.
I may be the untrustworthy person because of the demonic nature in me. I am speaking
No,
one
not
thing.
demonic nature.
I am
saying
speaking
something that
something.
is missed there.
I am
Or if
speaking
not a business
something.
deal, if you can wait for 100 years, okay, you can do that.
Yes,
But if
yes,
you
I will
can't
wait for.
1 year,
Ji, I am
maybe
also. I have got a blessing from Yama, so I have a lot of years. I'll wait for 200 years, according to you. It is all right, sir. I think we are just digressing. I will say, Vasudevanji, this in the spirit of our Gita discussion, we have already
I'm
decided.
saying, how do you deal with such a situation?
Can we deal this after the session, though? Because Vasudevanji, your opinion should not take precedence.
We can have a theoretical discussion, but this is
Your
practically in the world.
opinion,
How do you deal with
Vasudevanji.
this in the world,
Vasudevanji, like I said, your firm opinion, you stay with it, but it should not take precedence over everybody else.
You ask 100 people, go and ask 100 people.
Can I ask them after the session, Vasudevanji?
Yeah,
Because
go and ask 100 people. Ask
Vasudevanji, see here, ours is a absolutely free session. If you do not like what I'm saying, you are not being forced.
No likes or dislikes. I'm asking how do you deal with this practically in the world?
Practically, if you want to look at it, practically we are now in a Gita Varga. Practically, you have not agreed with what I have said. So practically, we will keep this in abeyance.
No,
According to you.
You are also not agreeing with what I'm saying. I'm saying 100 people go and ask. You are giving one example, I can give you 100.
No, I am Vasudevanji. I am in the business. I am not talking about the business field. You are feeling I am not in the business and I am unaware.
Okay.
If you are on the opinion, I am not knowing.
So we will agree to disagree.
No. I think this is the direction.
Can we request
Everybody
then
have
you
time.
Can discuss about it
Yes,
after the
yes,
session and we
Vasudevanji.
can
Because
continue.
everybody has a time frame, no? Everybody has work. I also have to go to work only. This Gita Varga is not something I am doing just like that, living in another world. I could keep continuing the Gita Varga throughout the day. So many batches. I have to work. So everybody is taking their sacrifice. Everybody is doing their yagni of time. Let us have respect for the ahutis of everyone. Your ahuti is important, definitely. But it should not be most important that everybody else should be forgotten. So let us get back. We are doing it for the Gita. Like I said, you don't have to trust me, you don't have to believe me. Let us trust Krishna. Let us have a Shraddha on Krishna. Sashrut is somebody. He is a Mudha. But Govindam Bhaja Mudhamathe. We will worship Govinda. Let us get into the practice of Gita. For everybody else. So let us go back to 8th sloka. I am sorry I was not able to end this discussion a little before. We'll come back to the Gita Swabhava again. What Gita is talking about. Krishna is saying these are the beings. 7th shloka. Pravrittim cha nivrittim cha. Demonic nature is that is ignorant of what is the right action, devoid of knowledge, unaware of the path of abstention. There is no truth in the dealings, nor is their faithfulness observed in these beings. So there is no truth in any dealing that they do, and there is no faithfulness also. Then what happens? Next question. Now this is the fall. 8, 9, 10, 11 and 12. That is the fall of the nature, how the Asuri nature brings a great fall in the individual. Asatyam apratishtham te jagadahuranishwaram aparaspara sambhutam kimanyat kama hetukam. So it begins, there is no God, they jubilantly proclaim. There is no truth in this world, so they claim. The origin of the world they dismiss as mere chance. Only desire is its sole foundation. This is their stance. So the first step, it's all right to be atheistic to some extent. Great yogis were also atheistic. I do not believe God. I do not believe this is true. How many, even Swami Vivekananda, agar tum ho to ye kyun hai? If you are there, why is this wrong in the world? That is a journey. Sri Aurobindo also at a time had this. But when the experience came, then the transformation took place. And after the transformation, then there was a complete change. Valya becoming Rishi Valmiki, some kind of transformation of that sort. But here, there is no God. They jubilantly proclaim. Means they are getting a kind of Asuri Ananda and saying, no, Ishvara Nasti. And they probably atheist is also seeking God only. But when that question is stopped with a full stop, that is the great fall which starts. No more seeking is taking place. The opinion has been formed that God's existence is not there. And then come the next. there is no truth in this world. This world only is having no truth. It's asatya only. Everything, all this divine, there is no divine. I don't believe in anything that is divine. There is no possibility of divine manifestation in this world. This world is just an example of all that is undivine only. Divine cannot exist. That is the next step which goes down. Then the origin of the world they dismiss as mere chance. This world has originated only by chance. Then what is there? What is the Shraddha then? If there is no Shraddha there, where is it going to be? Well, then they hold on to desire. This is the foundation, they say. Only desire is its sole foundation, thus is their stance. So see, everything is run by desires only. That is the foundation of existence. There is nothing more than that. That is the stance. Then this is the fall. This is the fall of the skeptic. I think Divine Life Society calls it the ladder of the fall, if I am not wrong, these set of shlokas. Because they have that perfect fall, how it takes place in stages. First is Ashraddha in the individual. First, no God at all. Then when God is not there, and what is the use of truth also in the world? Then there is no truth in this world itself. What is the use? There is no truth. The world, origin of the world they dismiss as mere chance. The origin of the world itself is all just a chance, is what they say. Only desire is its foundation. Thus is their stance. He goes on. Etam drishtima vashtabhya nashtatmanolpa buddhayah prabhavantyugra karmanah shayaya jagato hitaha. And then what happens? Now when that understanding is there, they are wearing that lens only. With that lens, everything in the world will look according to that only. God's existence is not there. So this, what I perceive, is only going to be true. And by this falsehood alone, all life they perceive. So their entire life passes in that perception only. That's not going to change. It's going to be there. With their minds polluted, their souls they deceive, becoming playthings of the demonic forces of damnation. With violence and injury, they perpetuate only destruction. So this is a danger afterwards, because when a person is receptive to the divine forces, the person can do good. But when there is the undivine forces, then the person can cause injury, can cause hurt. It's a force that enters into an individual and the person becomes the instrument of those. All life is perceived that way only. Their minds are polluted, their souls are deceived, and they become these playthings of damnation, of forces. These forces of damnation spreading violence and injury. Many times what do politicians do? They do the same thing. They try to create that divide, and then they are receptacles of these forces, negative forces, and then they find people who are going to further spread those negativities and those forces into the public. So this is the Asuri Swabhava. But then what happens then? Can a desire be fulfilled? Because assuming you are saying the world is only run by desire, this is the only foundation. When is the desire going to be fulfilled? When is the desire going to be fulfilled? Anybody? Yes, please. Yes, Srinivasji.
See, desire can be fulfilled, but the nature of desire, that will continue.
Nature. Desire will get, one more desire will come in its place, no?
Instantly there is the next
There's no gratification, is it not?
desire born.
Yes. Yes, Ji, yes, Ji. So this is the thing, one after the other, desires keep coming.
Vicious circle of desire.
Yes. Yes, so let us continue. This kama is something which will never be quenched. It is something like that. Kama mashretya dushpuram dambhamana madanvitaha mohat gruhitva sadgrahan pravartante shuchivrataha. With arrogance and a lust that is never quenched. Their devious minds in egos are drenched. A philosophy of ignorance fuels their desires, and to grab power, their mind incessantly conspires. So there's an arrogance which is never going to stop inside of that individual. That arrogance will continuously go on, because that is their perception. With that arrogance is not lost. We have seen sensitivity, tenderness. These are all Daivi Swabhava. In a divine nature it's possible, but when there is undivine nature, this sensitivity cannot be there. There is no tenderness. There is going to be that force of arrogance. And there is a lust that will never be quenched. It is like that fire which is going to keep burning. No matter what we pour into that fire will keep burning. And their devious minds in egos are drenched. So the only ahankar is only there in that person's mind. A philosophy of ignorance fuels their desires. So what is going to drive their desire? It's not going to be a selfless ideal. What is going to drive their ideal? It is going to be their ignorance only. For someone who does not believe in God, or somebody who does not believe in any higher truth, will that person ever try to do something for the higher truth? It will be only driven for desire. Everything is desire. I need to this, I need to acquire this much, I need to get this much, this is what is going to give me, otherwise it is of no use. So actions will also be governed and masked by that philosophy only. So that is a philosophy of ignorance, and Krishna has already told there is no greater vice than that. That ignorance is there. That is why probably Arjuna is lucky. Krishna is able to take that out of him. Otherwise, Arjuna's situation in the first adhyaya was, he was saying, I will run away from the battle only. And he was saying that is the right way. I do not want to participate. So this, and to grab power, their mind incessantly conspires. The mind is always calculating, how do I grab power? How do I get more? How do I, take one step ahead? Always all calculations are done. But my question is, do these calculations work in life? So many factors are there in the world, is it not? Even assume you are planning a party with friends, or you're planning some event, and you say, I want to sound intelligent in front of these people, I am going to do this. Some of them they make a plan. I have seen some of my friends that this is the topic we are going to discuss. Another person correctly deflates without my participation. Also, I have just seen. Sometimes I understand when they are trying to like they come to me and then ये फंडा नहीं समझ में आता है, शादी करने का या नहीं करने का, तेरा फंडा क्या है? Like, I just had responded to a friend that no, I do not want to, just as you want to. I have not wanted, so it is I have not. If I want, I will, but there is nothing to do. There is no funda in it. He got irritated. He just walked away from me, never spoke. That full reunion was a unfortunate one, and I did not know what happened. I did to irritate him. But I've seen it, not just me, also in other friends also. One person tries to deflate another person's logic. He's already made a preconceived plan to show he is more smarter than the other. But it doesn't work because these mental conspiracies cannot work so much. There are so many factors in the world. That is exactly what Krishna is saying. Their mind is always trying to grab, but it is trying only because nothing stays in the hand. These kind of thoughts, these are all not driven by what we can say higher truth. So then where there is no truth, there is a failure only. Let us go on further. Chintama parimeyam cha pralayanta mupashritaha kamopabhoga parama etavad iti nishchitaha. Believing astutely in the pseudo bliss of unconsciousness, enjoyment and desire is their only source of happiness. They are incessantly plagued by worries indefinite. Until their ends, they are consumed by thoughts infinite. So what's going to happen? This is a false bliss they are seeking. They are understanding only in that. And enjoyment and desire is their only source of ananda in their happiness, in their life. It's not even ananda actually. They feel it is ananda. It is just a bliss which they feel this is happiness. I get this return from someone. I will be happy is what they feel. But what happens afterwards? That is just a material aspect. It is not happiness which is not going to last. They are incessantly plagued by indefinite worries. So what happens to this mind? This mind is not at peace. There are going to be so many worries. A continuous plaguing of worries only is there in their mind. Until their end, they are consumed by infinite thoughts. Until their end, the thoughts will keep coming and troubling such an individual because they are all driven by their desires. Asha pasha shatair baddhaha kama krodha parayanaha ihante kama bhogartham anyayena artha sanchayan. So by 100 bonds of desires they are bound, for inside of them a reign of anger and lust is found. They only yearn for material wealth to accumulate. A mountain of possessions they seek to accumulate. So 100 bonds, this is the Asha Pasha Shatair Baddhaha. That is the jala of moha, where a person is trapped by 100 bonds, not one, not two. It's a very sad sight for somebody who is driven by those bonds. It's bound everywhere. The Kathopanishad talks about 101 bonds. The first one is that which connects the person to the divine on the top. That is the bond that liberates. But all the other 100 bonds, we trap ourselves. We have seen earlier, emotional, physical, mental. All these are so many bonds. In Varuna Sukta, there is a beautiful invocation. The Rishi says, untie the bonds below, in the middle also, and the ones above. The Rishi says, All those, even all three bonds have to be liberated. But where is the chance to go to the higher bond when we are trapped already in the lower bonds? First is to rise above these. So because of that, inside of them, there is a reign of anger, and there is always lust inside. That is only there inside such a person. Every time it's like they want to just accumulate and gather more and more wealth, more positions. It is like if one person has some shoes, this one shoe, the person will want 100 shoes. If a person has one home, he'll say, no, I want this many, 10 homes. But no matter how much homes a person buys or accumulates, how many places can one stay? A person can stay at one place at a time only. A person needs one bed to sleep, he can have 2 meals, 3 meals a day maximum, depending on the nature of the person. But more than that, what is that person going to eat? And beyond that, what will happen? If a person tries to overeat, again there's a problem. If a person, so many issues are there where people don't realize, they just run after the wrong things, and they want to get a mountain of wealth. There was very close to our factory, I was talking about property. There was this person who has accumulated so much property. Now there is no factory construction that has taken place. All other places factories have come. That particular property, this person has not had any construction. But this person was a leader of the union, and he had a great say over all industries. He would say, you pay me this much money under the table, and so I will not create fights with your employees. There will not be any kind of protest from the unions of your industry. Your rivals' industries will have protests if you want to ensure that has to happen, is what he had told. Now this was the nature, and he became like what they say, like an asura only in that area. People, all of them know about him very well. And suddenly we got a news that he got hacked by his own partner and is no more. And then the investigation is going on, and the police see that in his mobile phone, after his death also lakhs of rupees are coming inside. From where they are coming, how they are coming, we do not know. All his shady deals were exposed, and ultimately what happened to him? Nothing came out. Karma bandhana is there for everyone. Karma phala is there. A lot of people think they are above karma phala. I have also seen in government offices, because I am not able to take that topic out. I want to take it out of my consciousness, so we enter into the Gita. But I have seen the some 7-8 departments, because many of my years I had spent in all these departments, the heads, the member secretaries, all of them and their families. What has happened? This wealth, when anybody gives a bribe, 1 rupee bribe also, if a poor man gives, he is not going to give with Ashirvad. He is going to give with a very bad feeling, and that feeling is carried in spirit with that money. It's a cursed money. It is better if one is observed with that money will not work. That will not work. Wealthy people have earned a lot of wealth, but that money has been passed on to children. Children have never understood the meaning of hard work, and that is the worst experience as a parent the person can give to the child. These children have become rowdies, people have become drug addicts, so many things we have watched. And unfortunately, I have had it was one place I wanted to avoid visiting from my college. I was planning to leave India for that reason, because I didn't like the government system. But for 5-6 years, every day it was like my in-laws' place is what friends would joke. You are going to meet your in-laws, because that was the office I had to visit. So these experiences, what we have seen, these are individual. We will keep them aside, but this money does not take you anywhere. This is the wealth which is going to be of no use. It is not going to bring any happiness as well. So Krishna says, their state, idam adya maya labdham imam prapsyase manoratham idam asti damapi me bhavishyati punardhanam. They think, today I have so much I have gained, but tomorrow so much more has to be obtained. So much wealth I possess with me now, but tomorrow I need to amass more somehow by hook or by crook. That aspect, or crook also gets added, and I have to accumulate more wealth this way or that way. I have gained so much wealth. Tomorrow I need to gain so much more. This much wealth I have amassed, I need to somehow add more to it. There is no satisfaction and only wanting to add more and more. That is that continuous fire inside. Asau maya hatah shatru hanishye chaparan api ishvaro ham aham bhogi siddhoham balavan sukhi. One enemy of mine I have thus exterminated. Soon I will have all of them annihilated. For I am the most supreme amongst men, powerful, enjoyers of desires, invincible and successful. This ahankar is so much that that person feels, no, I am the one, I understand everything, I am enjoying everything, I know the real way of enjoyment, I know the real success, I am the most supreme. Today I am going to eliminate this enemy, tomorrow all my enemies will be destroyed. Now my question is, can we eliminate our enemies even physically? Is it possible? Why not? If not, can someone tell me why not? Yes, please.
What is the question?
Uh, yes, Vasudevanji, I was saying, can you eliminate your enemies?
Not the internal one. I mean, we can try to eliminate the internal ones, not the external ones.
Acha, we can eliminate internal enemies, not the external one. Why not?
Limitless, no?
Limitless. Okay, Vasudevanji says limitless. All right, Srinivasji, you want to add?
Yeah, we cannot eliminate every enemy
Because when you
because
go
by your
after,
nature,
हाँ,
you keep on creating enemies.
you eliminate one. It's like, अब तो मैं बदला लूंगा ही. This person has done like this. Now he did this to my dear person. Now you will get 4 enemies. You have gone after eliminating this one enemy. That's what happens in the circle of dons everywhere. The same thing. This person, this gang versus that gang. These are all what we can say forces. So these are forces playing, and Krishna is saying the Asuri nature goes after that. But probably.
Okay, something else. Share something.
Probably after the Adhyaya Vasudevanji. I would interrupt you right now. Yes, please. So, Adhyo Bijanavansmi Konyosti Sadrusho Maya Yakshe Dasyami Modishya Ityajnana Vimohitaha. I am wealthy and from a family of the rich I hail. In comparison to me, everyone looks poor and pale. I perform sacrifice. I do so much charity. I am the real enjoyer. Thus is their narrow mentality. So I am wealthy. I have so much wealth that ahankar of the wealth is there inside. I am from this family. I have so much. I belong to this status. I know about my family. That is one more way. In comparison to me, everyone looks pale. Mirror, mirror on the wall, I am the most beautiful of all. That is what they feel. Because everybody looks they are all stupid, they do not understand. I alone know everything. That kind of mind is there. Everybody looks pale in comparison to me, is the understanding of that individual. I perform sacrifice. Ahankar is there only. I am the one who is doing the yajna. I am the one who is doing dana. I perform so much charity. I am the real enjoyer. Thus is the narrow mentality. So, means even dana, it is like Agneya Swaha, Agneya Idannamam is not there. Aham eva Swaha, Swaha is not going to happen. Aham only is going to remain. And maybe Agni should be prasanna that I am doing the sacrifice. That is their state of mind. Because God must be lucky today that I am doing this prayer. That is the type of feeling in that person. Because ahankar is so much. We'll stop at probably 16th shloka because we have a limitation of time. Aneka chitta vibhranta mohajala samavrutaha prasaktaha kama bhogeshu patante narakeshu chau. They are minds which are in many ways deluded. In cravings trapped, they are ever confounded, ever restless by their desires, ever restless by their endless desire. They ultimately end in lust, hellish fire. So this is the Naraka which Krishna is talking about. Krishna is not talking about a Naraka Loka afterwards or what is told in Garud Purana. That Naraka is talking about the Vishwa, that life of that individual which is going to become Naraka because of their Asuri Sabhava. This is what he is saying. Mind is always trapped, is always deluded. What will a person who is in delusion, what kind of experience of life will that person have, or what kind of experience of life will that person give to the ones who are near? It is going to be troublesome only because that delusion is only going to drive that person's existence. And that person is always going to have craving, is always wanting to taste something, want to get something. That is the only source of happiness. And ultimately they end in a endless fire, and they end in that lust fire only. The life becomes like that. Naraka is what is happening. Anybody remembers the story of a particular Vikas Dubey? He had come in the news some time back, almost a couple of years back. A big fraudster, and he was a don of an area. Yes, anybody has heard of him? Only shady dealings. Yes.
Recently murdered a policeman and then he got caught, right? Is that right?
Yeah, but not one policeman. He had a big cartel only. It was like not one. So many came for a raid and all were shot. So many policemen were shot, and he was so much in power. He was in. He felt he has all the wealth, and he had properties all across the world. He was somebody. I'll just mute everybody. There's an echo going on. Yeah. So, but ultimately he died a dog's death. He was killed. He was killed. It was a very horrible. And his audios got released. Till the last day, he was in full control. He was like, "Huh, I'll see what has to be done." He had got a very great lawyer, also advocate for himself. He was going to surrender in a particular court and get some protection from it. That was all, and he was very calm and peaceful about it. His lawyer was doing all the work, and the plan was to, on the run. He was on the run, and he thought he'll just twist the system. He is everything. Ishwaroham aham bhogi. I am the bhogi. I understand it very well, and that was what was going on. But finally, when last audio also was released, here he is desperate. He's saying, no, they might kill me. I don't know what's going to happen. Please find me some way. And when he died, what happened after he died? It is like in the Puranas, the story when an Asura falls, how the full village celebrates. Like that, the poor people distributed sweets. The poor people distributed sweets on the death of somebody else. Now, what can be a more pitiful and sad thing than that? And why? Because he was so greedy. He had under the table share like that one commission he had. He had a commission even for the ration that was going to the poor. And that was so much that it created such hatred in the minds, but they were all afraid, and he was using his wealth, which he was considering his force. He was using it in the wrong way until that last, what we can say, the last sin he could do, and then that was over. That was his end. And his death was a very sad one. And the same story of, it is there again and again, that rise and fall, Asuri Swabhav, ultimately Asuras fall. Why? Satya can be hidden but cannot be destroyed. Why they say Satyameva Jayate? That is a weapon, that is a truth, righteousness, truthfulness, that is something. So with this, I think I will just conclude with the Shanti Mantra. Then I will then look at what Vasudevanji was saying during the session. Probably then we can have that discussion, but not during the flow of the session, of course. Hari Om. Sarve bhavantu sukhinah, sarve santu niramayah, sarve bhadrani pashyantu, ma kasyat dukkha bhag bhavet. Hari Om Tat Sat. Krishna Mande Jagat Gurum. Hari Om. Om Shanti Shanti. Yes, please. Hari Om Ji. Yes, anybody has any queries? After that, we'll look at that. We'll probably, if anybody has any queries, otherwise, we will directly go to that. Yes, please.
Hari Om.
Hari Om Ji. Hari Om. Hari Om.
Hari Om Ji.
Hari Om Ji. Hari Om. Hari Om. Hari Om. Hari Om Ji. Hari Om Ji. Hari Om. Hari Om Ji. Hari Om Ji. Hari Om. Hari Om. Hari Om Ji.
About what he said.
Ji, Vasudevan Ji, I just wanted to have the conversation because it was actually it was very disturbing during the session. Well, like we have told, we have a limitation of time. And Vasudevan Ji, there is no binding, no, that you have to believe me or you have to trust me or you have to. You told me that. No, Vasudevan Ji, now let us have the. No, Ji, this has happened a third time. No? That is why I think we will just. Because Vasudevan Ji, you can have your opinion, but I have a limitation of time. If you see, understand, I am just 32. But 32 is an experience. I can have my experience, is it not? When you say you don't trust me, you say I do not understand.
Excuse me, I may say something, then I say, let me take the other person's point of view. I think about it during the day.
You don't take an opinion, no, Ji.
So tomorrow we will talk about it.
Vasudevan Ji, I would not want to talk about it during the session, no, because after the session, because everybody has joined
Tomorrow
giving.
we'll talk about it after.
No, after the session we can.
Give me some time to think about
But I am surprised why you are attending the session when you do not have trust. We should not really. I would say you should follow your inner voice. If you feel I am speaking falsehood, you need not.
The voices are there. It's not like your voice or my voice.
No, your inner voice is important, Ji, because they say no, Atmaiva, Repur Atmana, Atmaiva Mitra also. So your inner voice tells you this is not a compulsion. But during the session, we all want to go in a. We are trying to understand Krishna, And nowhere am I claiming that I have got some realization. I am a student. I am a student of the Gita. I am trying to understand the Gita. But what happens is your opinion takes precedence over all the participants, and then I have to, because you are very senior to me, I respect you, sir. I am bound by entertaining you. But though I have to entertain your every query, no, sir, I am not your teacher, sir. I am not your teacher, sir.
The student asking some.
No, sir, no, sir, no, no, sir, no, sir. It is not. I am not your shishya, sir. I am not your. No, sir, no, sir. This is not. This is not a guru shishya samvad in our session. We are all abhyas. It's a abhyas varga. Joint studies taking place.
Gita Sandhu, you have studied it much more in depth.
No, no, sir, no, sir, no, sir, no, sir, no,
Both
sir.
of us here.
No, sir. I do not consider it that way.
Students will ask questions politely. Some students are like me.
No, no, sir, no, sir. It is not. I'm not saying that at all, sir. But what I want to say, no, sir, is that we have a limitation of time. Even this Gita concept, people take one. I know of one participant who herself conducts Gita sessions. She has taken a varga for 1.5 years with padachet, meaning, everything. So we are trying to complete the adhyay for a joint study, so it becomes a break in the harmony of the session. So, but I am available. You have my number. You can call me if you wish. And again, I want to specify, because when I gave you an example while responding to you, you said you do not believe. You doubt if
No,
you doubt
there
if I
is
am
some-
speaking.
There may be something missing in that.
That is a doubt. That is a doubt. When you are doubting, why get an opinion from me when you do not trust my words?
No.
Yeah. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes,
Okay,
sir.
that's
That-
what I said. Let me think about it for a day.
no, sir. I would say if you have a doubt, you should have it. You should have it.
Maybe in the heat of the moment I said that. But I don't.
No, sir. No, sir.
Let me think about it for a day.
No, because it is difficult for me, no, sir. 2-3 times we've had discussions, because sometimes for you Ukraine is very important. For you, some other issue, gun control in USA is important, which is fine.
Don't give too much weightage to what I say.
No, sir. The problem is you are interrupting me while I'm speaking, and I cannot tell you
Okay.
don't speak.
It-
I cannot do that. I
okay,
cannot do
I'm
that,
taking
sir.
pledge today. I will not talk in any of the remaining sessions.
That is also a wrong conclusion you have drawn.
Unless I feel it's very, very critical.
No, as long as it is connected with the session, and if I request you, sir, we can look at it later, we can, then that is the spirit of conversation. Where you are respecting my wish, you are respecting me, I would love to respect, I want to respect you, and I am doing the same. Yes, sir.
Telling myself I'm unnecessarily opening my mouth, but I can't control.
No, sir, no, sir, it is fine, sir.
The rest of remaining sessions,
You can,
I will
you
not
can.
open my mouth unless I
No, sir, no, sir, no, sir. It is your most inputs are you have an experience behind you which will help us learn also. Definitely.
valuable,
Yes, yes.
If we are not
Only.
valuable, it's better keep quiet.
No, sir. Your opinions are welcome, sir. If they go away from the session, and if I request that we want to digress, you please respect my wish that time. If they are digressing, that is all I want to say, sir. Of course, sir. Of course. Yes, sir. Jai Shri Krishna, sir. Hari Om. Hari Om. Hari Om. Hari Om. Hari Om. Hari Om. Any other queries are there? Most welcome. We will then conclude. Yes.
Shishiji,
Yes, ji.
you can suggest, like, because there are so many books on Swami Vivekananda. I mean, if you can suggest some, that would be great. Because I
Acha.
don't know.
You want to study Swami Vivekananda's books? I will. Please give me some time. What type of book do you want about his meditation,
To get introduced to what, I mean,
his life?
his life and
Ha, that would be
it's
better
also
to.
on Amazon and all, but
Okay.
which is the one which would be like,
Ha. I will try to find somebody who from the Vivekananda Kendra. They can give the best, which was the best history. What we can say, some kind of biography. Damleji always says, study the story of the individual, then it will understand how Swami Vivekananda became the Swami Vivekananda we know. So I'll try to find a good, yes, some biography will be available. Yes, Deepti ji. All right. Hari Om. Hari Om. Hari Om. Hari Om. Hari Om.